Coronation Street this coming week pulls viewers unflinchingly into the fractured inner world of Theo Silverton, James Cartwright, and the sustained abuse of his partner, Todd Grimshaw, Gareth Pierce, in an episode unlike anything the soap has attempted before. Told almost entirely through CCTV footage, police body cameras, and a hidden camera Todd installs for his own protection, the hour unfolds less like conventional drama and more like a case file being slowly, devastatingly opened. Gareth Pierce has described the experience of filming as both challenging and disorienting. The first few days felt like we were making something that belonged to Corrie, but in a language that was completely new to all of us, he reflected. It has the feel of 24 hours in police custody. I expected it to create distance, like we'd be watching our characters through a haze, but it does the opposite. It pulls you closer. It's like eavesdropping. You feel as though you're seeing things you're not meant to see. He hasn't yet watched the finished episode in full, but what he has seen, he says, is deeply effective and unsettling. The story begins with a report of a domestic disturbance at Todd and Theo's flat, after passers-by hear a violent commotion. When police arrive, their body cameras capture the aftermath, a flat in disarray, a silence heavy with consequence, and a man barely holding himself together. From this point, the episode fractures into flashbacks, revealing how Theo's abuse has escalated into something relentless and normalized, occurring almost daily. Gareth Pierce has noted that Theo's methodical isolation of Todd leaves him with no outlet, no support, and no release. The danger, he explains, lies not only in the risk of serious physical harm, but in the psychological pressure cooker building beneath the surface. There's a real risk Todd could be badly injured, or that he could snap in retaliation. The stakes keep rising. At the center of the episode is the hidden camera Todd has installed in the flat. Gareth explained that Todd doesn't see it as a trap or a weapon, it's an anchor. A way to protect himself from doubt. The episode's visual language is stitched together like evidence. Police body cams offer an unvarnished perspective, breath close to the lens, voices steady but human, hands moving instinctively to help rather than command. Exterior CCTV shows fragments, shadows on balconies, pacing feet, a neighbor's door opening and closing moments before the call. Then there is Todd's camera. Small, unassuming, hidden among books like an ornament. Its angle is intimate, almost intrusive. It witnesses the banal rhythms of domestic life, and the cruelty that infects them. At first, the recordings are tentative acts of self-preservation. Todd never intends to build a dossier. He tells himself the camera is insurance for his sanity, something he can replay when he needs reassurance that his mind hasn't fabricated the bruises or the way Theo's words coil tight around his chest. Early footage is deceptively ordinary. Theo humming while waiting for a takeaway, Todd at the sink with water running. But the texture shifts. The camera begins to reveal patterns, restraint followed by release, tenderness rationed like currency. Theo's temper, once edged, sharpens into something cultivated. He learns when to disarm, when to console, when to wound. Apologies become transactions. Kindness becomes leverage. As officers later review the footage on a tablet at the kitchen table, one detective murmurs, almost to herself, "He's very good at masking." The glow of the screen cuts through the darkness as clip after clip plays. Theo moves through the flat like a man possessed by small, deliberate cruelties, a photograph shoved aside, a door slammed inches from a face, furniture subtly rearranged so Todd never quite feels settled. The camera records denial layered over harm, followed by the soft, oily question, "Do you want to leave?" A question framed to implicate Todd in the choice, then undercut with a look that makes escape feel like a referendum on his worth. Slowly, the police begin to see the shape of it. Isolation, gaslighting, escalation. That escalation has been almost invisible to the outside world. The community, like so many, watched without really seeing. There were hints, cryptic social media posts, a cropped photo revealing a scraped elbow, a hand half hidden out of frame. But Theo understood performance. He knew when to display tenderness and when to vent rage behind closed doors. That fluency made him dangerous. When the worst act occurs, it happens in the grey hour between night and morning, when streets hold their breath. The hidden camera captures what police later describe with procedural restraint: raised hands, shattered glass, a body striking the edge of a coffee table. But the footage speaks more honestly than any report. There is a sound, raw, animal, followed by a silence that isn't empty so much as loaded. Todd convulses, then lies still. He is not a participant. He is an exhibit. The camera records Theo standing over him afterward, hands shaking, not with fear, but with untethered fury. He checks the floor, as though ensuring nothing remains out of place. He makes tea he doesn't drink, sends a harmless text, then deletes it. Life continuing, grotesquely intact. Neighbors don't call police because of shouting. They call because they hear a heavy thud, and then nothing. A silence that feels wrong. The body cam footage of officers arriving is blunt and almost helpless in its honesty. The knock. The pause. Entry. Faces tightening as professionalism gives way to recognition. Male, mid-30s, one officer radios. Possible assault. Ambulance en route. A detective kneels beside Todd, her voice deliberately soft. "Can you tell me your name?" Her badge glints in the lens. Todd's response is barely language, small, submerged sounds. Later, in interview, his words finally break through. "It started small," he says. "Then it kept happening. I thought maybe it was me. Maybe I deserved it." It is the most devastating admission of all. As evidence is pieced together, the hidden camera proves crucial. In a moment that feels forensic rather than theatrical, a detective freezes a frame, Theo's expression as he stands over Todd. The charm slips. Something else takes its place. That flicker, preserved in pixels, tells the story more clearly than any testimony. He controls the narrative, the detective says quietly. He isolates. He makes the victim doubt themselves. Theo's arrest is stripped of melodrama. No shouting, no resistance. The caution is read. His face settles into an unreadable mask. He looks at Todd, not with remorse, but appraisal. As if calculating usefulness, hands that once made promises are cuffed, catalogued, and reduced to evidence. But the episode refuses the comfort of tidy justice. It turns instead to aftermath. Todd wakes in hospital, surrounded by sterile white and the fragile presence of someone who hasn't abandoned him. Watching the footage feels like observing a stranger's life. The camera, once a private act of survival, has become his archive. He can't erase it, but he can step outside the story Theo wrote for him. As police dig deeper, deleted messages, curated social media posts, smiling photos, the illusion of an ordinary life collapses under scrutiny. Yet Todd's most dangerous battle is internal. Love and shame remain entangled. He loved versions of Theo. And memory, like abuse, combined. Gareth Pierce's performance is devastating in its restraint. Todd flinches before words land. His shoulders tense at a raised tone. On set, cast and crew carefully rehearsed camera placement, aware they were collaborators in something closer to testimony than spectacle. The result is not voyeurism, but insistence, a demand that audiences see abuse as it is, stripped of comforting tropes. The ripple effects extend beyond the flat. The community grows heavier with awareness. Conversations slow. A meeting is hastily organized at the community center. Leaflets appear. Helpline numbers are shared, particularly those supporting survivors in queer relationships, a point the episode underscores with quiet urgency. The episode's climax is not violence, but repair. Todd packs a box. Clothes, a toothbrush, a photograph from a seaside day he once loved. He places it carefully inside, as though folding a future into shape. A friend sits nearby, close enough to matter. "You did the right thing," the friend says, not as comfort, but as structure. Todd's eyes fill, not with catharsis, but relief. Justice will move slowly. Courtrooms, procedures, public scrutiny. For Todd, recovery is quieter, therapy sessions, unlearning blame, relearning safety. The episode treats this not as resolution, but truth. Survival is cumulative, small acts repeated. Opening a window, making a call, sitting in a room where belief is unconditional. The officers return briefly. Detective Sergeant Patel speaks plainly. We do our job, but we can't replace what communities do for each other. It takes neighbors noticing when a silence is suspicious. It takes survivors having spaces where they can speak without fear. In the closing moments, the camera returns to Todd's hidden device. For the first time, he faces it deliberately. Not as evidence, as authorship. I kept thinking I could fix it, he says slowly. If I loved harder, if I was better, but it didn't stop, it only taught him how to hurt me better. Maybe that sounds naive, but I'm done making it my fault. There is no applause cue. Only reclaimed language. The final images are subdued, resolute. Forms signed for a protection order. Social workers clearing the flat with care rather than indifference. Police tape coming down, curtains reopening, the chip shop sign flickering back on. The credits roll over a still image of the hidden camera, now sealed as evidence. A narrator's voice offers resources, not judgment. The message is clear, threaded through every frame. Abuse is not always loud. It wears familiar faces. It speaks in tones we mistake for normal. This episode does not ask viewers to watch passively. It asks them to notice, to trust the wrong note, to investigate it, and to remember that sometimes a camera, a phone call, or a hand on a shoulder is where escape begins.